Hey guys, it's Dani, the multiple streams queen. Welcome to my channel. For anybody that's returning, welcome back. If this is your first time seeing one of my videos, thanks for coming in. Come on in, come on in. On my channel, I'm going to be talking about everything Airbnb, the good, the bad, and the ugly, to help you hopefully get started on this journey. Give you some tips and tricks, things to avoid, things that you can do that can help you be successful. Today, I want to talk about screening your guests, how to prevent parties. How can you prevent parties in your Airbnb units? So let's get into it. I'm sure you've seen or heard some stories on social media. You've seen some videos on social media of people destroying Airbnb units. That is one of the reasons why some people are scared to get into it. That is one of the reasons why people don't want to rent to you when you tell them that you're going to put their listing on Airbnb. This is one of the main objections you will get from apartment complexes. When you're trying to rent their units from them, like they don't want to deal with that chaos or parties. So how do you prevent parties? Screen your guests. Screen your guest. Right? There's no foolproof method, right? You can ask all the questions, you can screen them, and unfortunately people will lie sometimes, so it's not 100% foolproof. It's just my advice, my opinion, and what has worked for me. But you have to screen your guests. Okay? How can you screen your guests? So one of the things that I do have instant book on my listings, right? Because that helps me show up for people that are searching in my area, and people that want to book, they can book, right? But what I require on my end, if you want to book my units, is that you have had your identity verified with your government ID, right? I've gone through the steps to verify who I am, gone through several verifications for myself. So for my guests, I want you to do the same. I don't want you to get booted off Airbnb. You get somebody else's phone, create another listing today or yesterday, and you book my place, right? You got booted off because you had a party or you smoked in somebody's unit or whatever the case is. And so now you just create a whole new account and you ain't even verified who you are. No. Right? So one of the things that I require is that my guests have verified their identity, right? There are different things that you can put on and toggle off. One of them can be that your guest has to be recommended by another host, right? So that means if they're on the platform, they've stayed with another host, that the other host has recommended that they would actually rent to them again. Unfortunately, I've had I think only 3 people that I could not recommend, that I don't want to see, hear, think about again, right? Only 3 out of me hosting dang on near 300 people so far. I've only had a few that I would not rent to again, that were just not good guests. So that is one of the things that you can put on. It's totally up to you. That's not something that I do. From my experience, I have had, and in my opinion, I like to give people chances, right? So even if they're new, they created an account a long time ago, but they've never used Airbnb, or if they used it, they just haven't gotten a review, I still allow them to book. So that's not something that I put on as one of the screening things. There's another one that you can require your guests have a profile picture. Again, that's not something that bothers me. I've had plenty of guests that it was just the little blue face or the blue little body, that were great guests. Never gave me an issue. So that is not something that I require or put on either, that guests have to have. But to each his own. You can do whatever makes you comfortable. You don't have to do instant booking. You can have it where your guests have to send you a message or a booking inquiry, and you have to manually approve the booking request before they can actually book, right? Because that allows you to screen them better. In my house rules, I have that anybody that is local, you need to message us before you book. 1, that lets me know that they read my house rules. 2, I get to screen them, right? Why are you coming? Why are you staying? I've had people that are in the area, especially those one-nighters. So the one-nighters can be one or two things. Or let's say one or three things. The one-nighters could be people that are in the area. Maybe they live a little ways away. They just don't want to drive home. They got into it with their spouse or their partner and they just don't want to go home, right? It could be that. Two, they could be creeping. They could be creeping, right? They want to take their little side boo. They want to spend the night with the side boo. Or three, they trying to have a party or do something that they doing something they ain't supposed to be doing. Those are the only three reasons you have local guests that are booking for one night. Or they could be somebody that is another Airbnb host that just wants to be nosy. So four things. But typically, like, especially those one-nighters, it's like, hey, what's up? What do you want? I don't say it like that. But there's obviously a professional way that you can ask people like, hey, I see that you're local. We ask that our local guests message us before they book. And then you can proceed to ask your questions. So that is one of the things that I do. And honestly, guys, that has that has helped a lot. Since I've been doing it, I only had one guest that obviously from the time they booked, from the time they came, they had full intentions on having a sweet 16 for the person who booked for their daughter. That we've had that one incident. Other than that, we haven't had any issues. Other things, I think the ID thing has prevented people from booking. My thing, I don't look at it as lost revenue. If you're a responsible adult, you should have some form of identification. And so if you can't book because you don't have your ID or some type of ID, like, oh well, right? I don't count it as lost money or lost revenue. It just is what it is. Somebody else will come right back behind them and book. So it's not an issue for me, but that is how you prevent parties. Screening your guests. Also, Airbnb tries to do a good job of trying to screen guests or identify like high-risk guests or high-risk reservations. Obviously, if you have a bigger unit, let's say a 2 or 3 bedroom, and someone's trying to book and they only put themselves on the reservation. Ma'am, why do you need a whole 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom by yourself? Like, why? Unless you're just, unless it's just cheap. Right? If you have a 2-bedroom that you have that is cheap for the night, okay, I can see that. But if it's your regular rate for a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom and you have someone trying to book and they're booking for one person, hey, ask them like, hey, I see you're trying to book, but you only put one person. Is there a reason why you need such a large unit? And they can ask you, or they can answer and tell you exactly what they're doing and what's going on. But 9 times out of 10, if it's one person on the reservation that's trying to book last minute for a big old unit, and especially for one night, it's probably for a party. Or they're probably up to something that they're not supposed to be doing. So screen your guests, okay? Don't be afraid to ask questions. Remember, this is your business. You don't have to get too intrusive. It is totally up to you what you ask. I am always professional, never get out of line with people. But you have the right to screen people. You want to know who's staying in your house. That is totally okay, right? Of course, do not discriminate against people, their age, their race, their religion. No, I'm not telling you to do that at all. But screen your guests. You have the right to ask questions. Ask questions, and based upon those answers, you can approve or decline those requests for bookings. So that is one of the ways that you can prevent parties. If you like the information that I'm sharing, you find any value in it, please, please, please like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. If you know anybody else that's trying to get into the Airbnb industry, share this video with them. Share my channel with them. Tell them to subscribe, because every week I'm going to be dropping some more information about Airbnb hosting. All right, guys.